Hello, everybody. We're coming to you live from the 2026 NRA annual meeting in Houston, Texas at the Voices of the Second Amendment area. My name is Clint Macro.
I'm Matt Mallory.
Cheryl Todd.
And I'm the other guy, Dan Todd.
And we're coming to you from the Meet the Pressers
Gun
Freedom Radio Studio of Liberty. We're here at our booth. We've been sharing the booth with Cheryl and Danny. It's been a great time. Actually, this is going to be our last broadcast from Voices of the Second Amendment, because you and I are going to go be instructors for the rest of the day.
Different hat.
And I was really glad to hear that we were sharing with you guys.
Me too.
Yeah, and the banner looks beautiful, doesn't it?
It really does.
Good job on that.
Yes. I was so thrilled when we had to make a new banner, and I just kind of sat back quietly in the text thread and waited for somebody else to go, well, I'll do it. And so
I was too busy. I've been teaching classes. I'm like,
could you have made sure that I wasn't in the picture or something like that?
No, it's already there.
Oh.
It's already there. No, it's beautiful, and we've never shared a booth before, and this has worked out just perfectly for our schedule, and I think for yours as well. And even though we're going to end up interviewing some of the same people through the course of the show, your style and your questions are going to be different than our style and our questions. Yep. And so I feel like that is just brilliant to give, lots of different prisms of the same people.
For sure.
Prisms of the Same People. That's going to be the album title when you make your next record.
Prisms. I like it. I'm writing that down. Right next to Studio of Liberty, because I like that too.
So who have you guys interviewed? Who have you had on so far?
Well, I am telling you that today is our big push. We got a lot of people today, but from yesterday, and I hate to have favorites because we love everybody, right?
Sure, absolutely.
But somebody that I've been trying and hoping and wanting to interview for so many years, and it's just never panned out for whatever reason. But we got to interview Mark Osgeist from 13 Hours.
I thought I heard he was here.
And his gorgeous little girl dog, Roan. And Roan is named after his partner that was killed near him on their mission.
What a great interview that was, too. He was so kind to us.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Really good interview.
we've had John Tig Tigan. We've had him on the show.
I haven't. So
Didn't he actually guest co-star once when I was on my hiatus?
Yeah, he guest co-hosted the show.
how fun!
Yeah, and I've trained with Chris Tonto Pronto. I've taken with Mantis. I was pro staff for that out in Chicago. I did a class.
Very cool.
Chris.
So what was your favorite interview, guys?
Oh, favorite interview?
This one with us?
Yeah.
I mean, wait,
Yeah,
go on. Go on.
We saved the best for last.
I like how you did that.
We've done 16 or 18 interviews.
Oh, it's been a whirlwind.
Yeah, just.
I feel like the bell of the ball.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Your dance card is full.
Oh, it's full, all right.
I love that.
That's not the only thing it's full of.
Let's get a little deep back.
It is hard to put the best one because we welcome all of them and we love all of the interviews that we do.
So we know how we ended up being, podcast partners, because tomorrow is actually our 41st wedding anniversary.
Oh, congratulations.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
41, as Danny says.
41.
41. Oh, yeah. Let's have some thumbs up on
I
that.
dropped it.
Oh, no.
They will do it, right? Wait.
But how did you two end up connecting and
Work
saying,
wives.
we like each other so much that now we need to do it on camera in front of everyone? That's the true test of how things go.
So my recollection is, this does literally sound like work wives, but my recollection is Clint would run around to booths and he would, hey, let me get a selfie all the time. And I'm just like, who is this guy? And then I found, he's an instructor and around, okay, so he's kind of like me. And I was like, I like this guy, And then he actually bought a product from Laser Ammo when I was working there as pro staff years and years ago. And then fast forward, I reached out to him because of his media background to help with the show, the PSNet show, my training company. And he gave me good advice on audio equipment and such.
And I made him a kick-ass theme song.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he only used it a couple times.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, dude.
And then we did the UTM instructor class. It was the first one where they did it as a civilian class.
Yeah, I hosted that at
in
not my place, but the
your
range
area
that I use in my hometown. And he came down and I said, how's the show going? And he says, we aren't doing it anymore. I'm like, what? And he invested some money in it. I said, you need to repurpose that stuff.
And I was like,
continue. See, I'm finishing his story
"No,
for
you're
him.
good." Yeah, see, it's the work wives.
Work wives.
And I was like, well, I'm not doing it on my own. I don't have the the time and such. He goes, well, sounds like you need a co-host, a partner. Like, you interested?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, hell yeah, because both of us, have been told and by students and other people we should put our content online. And so we use it as a marketing arm for our training companies, which is kind of different than anybody else in the industry. Usually they're podcasters and they just got away with things, or they're an instructor and they really don't have anything on the internet. Some big names, Chris Tonto, Pronto and stuff. But yeah, so we just said, let's go for it.
I love that. Selfies do bring people together.
They do?
Oh yeah, they do.
So-
My wife and I used to laugh at that stuff and say, "That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Why would someone do that?" And I tell you now, it's kind of funny how the social norms have changed.
Mhm.
Someone could be having a complete private conversation.
Mhm.
I could jump up and just do this.
Uh-huh.
Everyone will stop, turn, smile, click. And I don't even have to say anything to anybody.
No.
And off I go.
And they just move along.
And it's completely
Yep.
acceptable.
Normal.
Yes, absolutely.
I have to tell you that Cheryl is so bad with selfies. I had to buy a sign that's in our bathroom that says no selfies in the bathroom. Okay, right?
That's great. That's great.
My wife's the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess will the taking selfies of your food, I guess that's not a selfie, but taking pictures of your food, is that ever going to go away, or is that going to be the norm? What do you think?
That's food porn.
Food, there you
Yeah.
go.
I just rather eat it. Just,
Right. I'll eat half and be like, I should have taken a picture. Well.
Well,
Yeah.
I really started getting into doing it here in this business because, one, as a shameless self-promoter,
Yeah.
showing me next to you
Yeah.
actually makes me cooler in the eyes of the
Yes.
people looking.
Wow.
I become cooler by proxy,
Yes.
by the people I'm hanging out with,
It's
right?
true.
So it helps to build my, in a way, the view of my subject matter expertise by who I'm taking a selfie with. So I started off doing it very purposely as kind of a propaganda thing, to be quite honest.
Sure.
But really, honestly, the years ago when I worked in the film and the music industry, especially, I never took any pictures. I was that guy. I'm not going to, take any pictures or be that guy that runs over and can I get your autograph?
Yeah.
Stars and rock stars. If you're working with them, it's a professional relationship.
Yeah.
But if you see them, it's kind of like they're like deer. You just leave them alone, right? There's a deer, and you just
Yeah.
kind of leave it alone. But looking back at that now, so many decades later, I think back and it's like, man, I wish I would have taken some pictures of when I worked with that guy. And
Well, I must be
When I
super
did
cool because I hang with her every day,
Oh,
right? So
Well, and so the thing is that you said autographs. The selfie is kind of it's become the autograph
That's a good point.
of our
That's really a good analogy. Yeah.
time frame,
That's
right?
the
So-
autograph of our time frame. That's your second album.
Okay, thank you. I'm full of these
Yeah,
one-liners
for
today.
sure.
I'm full of it or something. But you're right. There is the memory of what happened. There is sort of that, it's like giving you street cred in a way.
Yeah,
Like I've met
absolutely.
this person. I've had a conversation with that person. And when someone comes up to me and says, "Hey, can I get a selfie with you?" I feel so honored. Like I really feel like, wait, you want a picture with me? I'm always the one running around going, "Can I have a picture with you?" And so I've always encouraged through my advocacy, we try to find, whatever we can. It's really about relationship building. And so whatever ways we can build relationships. And so I've encouraged the people that I've spoken to that, that is a currency in itself. And that people do feel good when you say, "Hey, can we have a selfie?" As long as you're being, courteous about it.
Mhm.
And you are right. In a setting like this, especially people that we know, our peers and so forth, they know to assume the position, like we do the arm raise with the phone. They know we're going to get a quick picture and we're done. They're really not going to take our time up and that sort of thing. But if you're seeing somebody that you don't really know in public, just be courteous about it. But I think that 99.99% of people feel happy and honored that you want their photo.
For sure. I mean, I was every time you came by. Let me get a photo.
Yeah.
Selfie.
Yeah.
It's good macro.
I'm like, do you know who I am? Because I'm nobody. You want my picture?
And that's the funny thing. I think that's probably at this this level that we're at, all of us going around and people asking, it's like, well, nobody, right? Like you get people, and I'm like, I'm humble. I'm just a servant of the Lord, like everybody else, and I just want to do the best to stay alive and keep other good people alive, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to shoot anybody. I don't want to have to defend myself or
Yeah.
come to the third person if I don't have to.
Right.
I don't want that on my conscience.
Right.
I don't want to be sued civilly by their family because he was such a good boy, whatever. So it's just, we just spread it and people like what we're saying and that's it.
So when people first started asking me to speak, I was like, I just ask other people questions as a radio host and a podcast host.
Yeah.
That's all I do. I ask subject matter experts, what do I have to say? But I realized, all right, if God's bringing it to me, I should say yes and see where it goes. And I did realize that I had a lot more to say than I realized, even though I don't have any dramatic survivor story. I don't have any, major conversion story about I used to be anti-gun or any of that. But just being a wife, a mom, and a grandma, and somebody who values our God-given rights, that is a voice that resonates with a lot of people.
Well, it's not you're just that, you are that.
Yeah.
And that gives you tremendous value. So working with everyone else, the folks that we get a chance to interview as an advocate, now you can take their experience and their background and their way of saying things, and you can cherry pick that and use that when having arguments with legislators. And
Yes.
I think it gives you a much bigger bucket to pull from.
And we do that in our classes. We'll take that same knowledge and then, like John Korea, when we were talking to him earlier, some of the stuff that he comes up with, we use it in our classes, etc.
Trampa Swanson said, only at Disney is food porn.
Okay.
Only at Disney?
Only at Disney. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that
He-
means.
he
Well,
is
it does
in Disney.
Disney,
mean
that's where he's at.
I saw it
didn't see him.
earlier on Facebook. And our
Good
daughter,
to see you, Travis.
Yes, hello. Hello. And our daughter, who's on the other side of the camera, is a Disney travel agent. And so when we go to Disney, she has to film our hotel rooms before we can step foot in, because she can use that footage.
Okay.
And she always says, with the food comes, the camera eats first.
That's
So-
so cool. That's
No matter how hungry we are,
That's right.
it's the way it is.
So I would order two separate trays.
Yes.
Eat one while she
Yeah.
takes pictures
There
of the
you
other.
go. There
So
you go.
the polka dotted queen it should be now, and
Thank you.
the
Thank you.
polka dotted princess.
There
coming
you
up.
go. Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
He also said, all four of you are I clicked it off. A little bit of a lag there.
He deleted it.
Great metric of our industry to meet and be fortunate to get to know.
So
Thank you.
Back
Trent.
at you very
Really
much.
appreciate that. That definitely means a lot.
Well,
it's so nice to work with folks in this industry, and also to look at the amount of change that we have each individually helped to fulfill.
and
in the
even change
positivity.
we've experienced
Yeah.
from other people, right?
Yeah, I was doing an instructor update earlier or yesterday, and everyone in that room has saved a life somewhere down the street. Maybe one of my students, maybe one of the instructors I trained, their student. But down the road, we've saved life and things that we may never know. Just because that woman in that class, after she took the class, she went home and locked her front door. That may have saved her life.
Yeah.
And it's what a wonderful calling that we have to do this. And we were talking about John Korea earlier on. He said, who would imagine I'd be here doing this? And I was kind of the same thing. It's funny how God puts those doors in front of us and sometimes just gives you a nudge or kicks you through it. 25, 30 years ago, would I imagine I'd be here today talking to you fine folks about what we are? But here we are, right?
Here we are. And I wouldn't be doing any of the things that I do if it wasn't for Dan. He had a gun shop before we ever even met. And then once we were married, he got that bug again and wanted to have another gun shop. And that's kind of where it all started because, I have always been around guns, right? I've always been pro-gun. I've always voted. I've always done all the things. But to be vocal about it, I wouldn't have.
It's funny because my dad, back in the 70s, he was fighting for our gun rights way back then because we even had issues back then. And I helped him, but I didn't get really involved in it. And I wish he could see now what we're doing because, we're helping and it feels good to do that. But I wanted to ask you, Clint, are you seeing a lot more women getting involved in this?
In advocacy or just
In your
gun
training?
ownership? Absolutely. My day job is with the USCCA. I'm the regional training manager for the Northeast, as well as my own company at Trigger Presses Union. Absolutely, the trend is more and more women getting involved. wanting to arm themselves, take on that responsibility to be their own first responder, and in many cases, family first responder.
Right.
So yeah, absolutely. I would say without doubt, there's empirical data on that, and talk to any instructor, and I'm sure anecdotally they would agree with that statement.
And don't you think that's what's going to make the changes that we need in legislation and everything else? Women getting involved.
Absolutely, because women get stuff done.
Right.
Guys get pissed and shut down.
Right.
Women get stuff done.
Right.
And we travel in packs, right? We are social creatures, and
The
so
bathroom.
yeah, exactly. We have advocacy meetings in the restrooms. I mean, I've said it
No
out loud.
selfies in the
I've said
bathroom,
it, and
though.
no
Yeah.
selfies to
That's
prove
your
that it
third
happened.
album, advocacy
Oh, my
meetings in the restroom.
I love it. Well, I wanted to just touch back on the fact that my father-in-law, Curtis Todd, was doing, all this hard, gritty work long before I would have ever dreamed, and he had passed before I'd ever even started doing this. But there is a photo that I just absolutely love that shows the second generation. And I don't know if Cassie can pull it up and we can show it, but it is Neil Knox. Do you guys know who that is? So his son, he was next in line to be the president of the NRA.
Yeah.
And then they put in Charleston Heston with a little bit of backroom shenanigans.
That was mid '80s or late '80s, early '90s, right?
I think it was maybe even earlier than that, but whenever it was. So his two sons, Chris Knox works with me on the board of the Arizona Citizens Defense League, and Jeff Knox is now on the board of the NRA.
Yep.
Eric Pratt is the son. Who is the dad
I can't remember.
of
his name.
GOA?
Oh,
The dad of,
yes.
of Eric Pratt. He's in this photo.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then Curtis Todd. Larry
Larry
Pratt.
Pratt.
Thank
Larry
you.
Pratt, thank
Left
you,
my
yeah.
brain for a second. Larry Pratt. So it's Neil Knox, Larry Pratt, and Curtis Todd. And the next generation, all three of their children
That's good.
are forerunners and go-getters.
And how proud they would be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I would hope. I'd love that if we're making them proud. Cassie just grabbed the picture. I don't know if there's any way to make it show up on camera.
We can
but
just
it's-
do this.
There they are. Curtis is the one in the middle. And that's the legacy that I hope we're all leaving.
My dad, he spent many hours, worked hard, bought expensive equipment, printing presses and stuff, did it in his house for that one reason. And we almost lived poor because of it, because he took every bit of money and energy he had to fight for our rights. And it's like, I feel embarrassed that I didn't do that back then, because look where we would be and more educated I would be if I would have followed that at that time. But girls got in the way and cars got in the way,
I mean, I think we're comfortable where we're at. My wife and I have this conversation all the time. We're comfortable where we're at. We don't want to lose what we've established. It's nice to have all the stuff we have. We've come a long way as a country, as a society. But in some sense too, we let the government. I mean, what was it, 1 to 3% tax on tea?
Yeah.
And now
that
we're
was
at,
enough to
to go
kick things
yeah,
off.
and
now
look
we're
at it
like,
and go,
well, who needs an AR-15? Like,
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
And
You
we're
know?
talking about this now on Patriots Day, when the Redcoats came after the guns, the ammo, and the leaders
That
of
is
the Sons
today.
of Liberty in Lexington,
The
Concord.
shot heard around the world.
But did Virginia wake up to this week?
Oh,
Or
and they
this month?
literally were protesting, 2-3 years ago, 4 years ago, whatever it was, out there with rifles because of that kind of pushed them back. Then it's worse now than it was then.
It's crazy because elections matter.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
elections matter and we can weigh in before they happen and when they happen, not after it's already decided and then we freak out and go, well, how did that happen?
Yeah.
Well, did you show up? Did you vote? Did you have 5 friends with you?
Trace it back to the dog catcher, right? Somebody's running for dog catcher, and next
Amen.
thing you know, they're going to be the president of the United States or community organizer.
So right.
Well, Arizona really has a problem right now because our governor is vetoing any bill that is good for gun owners.
And that's Arizona.
Arizona, you would think that's all cowboys and we're fighting, but we're going to win this battle because we have a great governor candidate, Andy Biggs, and we have a great attorney general coming in.
Good.
So if they get elected, it will change everything in Arizona. So I'm hoping.
Yeah.
But,
So who do they need to vote for in Arizona?
Andy
Andy
Biggs, Warren Peterson, Mark Lamb,
Okay.
yes.
Joseph Chaplick. These are for different offices, but write those names down and be thinking about it, Arizona.
Have you
but do your
yeah.
own research. Don't just take
Right.
even
Yeah,
our word
absolutely.
for it.
Yep.
Have you guys interviewed Mark Lamb? Do you know who he is?
I don't think we have.
He's a true constitutionalist sheriff
Okay.
that's running for senator.
No, we haven't had him on.
No, for Congress.
Congress.
He'll be taking
And-
Andy Biggs' seat.
Yeah, and he is
Because Andy Biggs is
probably
running for governor.
the strongest person I've ever met
Mhm.
that fights for our Constitution.
And let me say, don't just take anybody's word for it, because President Trump, he does endorsements for people, and most of the time, I would say, okay, that's an okay. But he's made a couple in Arizona that I'm like, I'm not sure what that's about.
Yeah.
And so, whoever it is you're listening to, still do your own research.
I mean, same in New York. I really wanted Elise Stefanik to go forward, but when Trump endorsed Blakeman, she dropped out. So we have Blakeman. We got to go for Blakeman. I saw a post this morning, and somebody had said, "No, do a write-in for Elise Stefanik." I'm like, she dropped out. Like, you're going to do a write-in. It's already going to be hard enough for a Republican Party to win in New York State. You're going to do a write-in for somebody who doesn't want the job.
Right.
Like, how's that? No, that's not going to help. So Bruce Blakeman, New York State. Todd Hood, the sheriff, actually my sheriff in the county I work as a cop in. He's the lieutenant governor.
If you really want to know the inside baseball when it comes to local politics, talk to your state level organizations like Arizona
Citizens
Defense
Defense
League, Firearms Owners Against Crime in Pennsylvania, because sometimes there's not the best candidate, but there's a better candidate. And long game, we have to look at changing leadership to a pro-gun side so that these bills never get brought up, and we can advance freedom by getting some pro-gun bills.
And the New York one is New York State Rifle and Pistol Association.
Are you from New York?
I am.
Oh my gosh, the things you're going through.
Yeah, right. So I reached out to you, I don't know if you remember, years ago, to talk about getting my SOT, and I wanted to get some advice. And you're like, don't do it. Of course, I'm like a child, and I did it.
Did it anyway.
And I'm happy I did it, but it's $500 a year, and and there's the regulations and stuff.
Well, I told you don't do it, and I did it again. But but in New York, it's got to be really tough.
Yeah, I mean, there's no regulation in New York. I already have my Type 7 FFL, so they did nothing with New York at all. I applied to the federal government, they approved it. Yeah.
Nice.
And plus, being a cop that also kind of talk the lingo, and they maybe hopefully don't look to me as much of a criminal as the average citizen, even though citizens should be able to have all the fun stuff we have.
Exactly. Well, we probably about run our clock out, haven't we?
We have. Yeah, we have.
We have a clock.
Apparently.
We
I don't
have
pay
clocks, but
attention
no
to it.
filters.
There you
Well,
go.
I was going to ask you that. So who is the one that filters? Because she has the button for me. I don't have a button for her.
Well, I think this would be a good time to say we were going to have our stuff on We the Free, so we don't have to have a filter going forward. Once we start putting all our content up there, we can say whatever we want.
We've been doing this for 10 years, and I got so upset a couple of weeks ago when we did. I said a beep word.
You did.
And
I was like,
it's like,
where'd that
I
come
didn't
from?
realize it. Who were we interviewing when we did that?
I don't remember.
Oh my gosh.
Open mic, hot mic. It was a hot
It
mic.
was a hot mic moment.
Just one time in 10 years.
But my thing is, I'm not a prude about language, and sometimes you just need that to punctuate. I don't know if you guys know who Maj Touré is, but he's one of our best friends. And he can't get through a sentence
Yeah,
without
we actually,
a couple
the
of
first time
beeps.
we had Maj on, he says, "Can we cuss in this show?"
Yes.
So I put a placard up, says, "We celebrate the First Amendment as well as the Seconds." I said, "Tell the kids to put earmuffs on."
Yeah.
And so, and he's always very courteous on our show. But I always want to I want people to be able to listen in the car with the kids. You know what I mean? And so I just try to make it where, there's already all the barriers of, they're talking about politics, or they're talking about guns or whatever. So that's my thing with the language thing. So, and when I was a kid, I decided to try out some big girl language one time. And I had a teacher say, you know what? Of all the languages on the planet Earth, is that really the best word for what you were trying to do?
My son
it
is
really
my filter.
landed on me.
My son Augie, I speak very freely, and Augie will say, "Dad, There's probably a better word than that.
Nice. How old is he?
He's 17.
I love
That's
that.
very good.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well,
Yeah.
anyway, how do we wrap this?
Yeah, it's always good to be hanging out with you guys and
Yes,
seeing you in person.
you too. This is
And
amazing.
as we clean our crap out of here and hand you the keys for the rest of the day,
We'll try not to scratch and dent it.
We-
Try
we-
to keep air in the tires. So appreciate you guys. It was wonderful sharing, and
How can people that are following us learn more about you?
just find us at gunfreedomradio.com. You can pretty much on all the different platforms find us there. And we don't talk enough about our auction house, Pot of Gold Estate Auctions, or pogauctions.com. We do a lot of benefit auctions for people in this industry, Walk the Talk America, Armed Women of America, GOA, where they get 100% of the proceeds. So definitely check that out as well. And you guys?
Well, meetthepressers.com/giveaways for the giveaway here at the show. So if you're watching this later, then the giveaway's done at the end of the month. So get in on it. A lot of your great sponsors that have done that. Clint and I have a class tomorrow or today. Both of us have a class today. So if you're here, check it out. And meetthepressers.com. Thanks.
stay armed and be well regulated.